my backside, which is also my good side. Many of you know I would rather talk about me, but instead I will talk to you about the nomination of Richard Harlow for the position on the Board of Assessments Appeals. This is a hotly contested race. Richard, or as I like to call him, Stick, he by the way calls me Shorty, would like to be considered for a nomination to appear on the ballot as a candidate for the Board of Assessment Appeals. He's married to his beautiful wife, supportive wife Carol, and has 2 children, James and Jen. He's nearly a lifelong resident of Bristol. When he got married, he lived in Berlin, but missed home so much he had to come back. He's a tool design engineer for Pratt & Whitney. He's a current DTC chair for the past 4 years, DTC chair in our precinct in 78B or 2. He's a justice of peace. For 2 years, a member of the Housing Code Appeals Board, president of McCabe Waters Little League in 2006, and continuing as past president for the last 9 years, which qualifies him as some sort of oracle, only because Carl won't quit being president. He was an assistant scoutmaster for PAC 434 for 4 years at the former Bingham School. He's a world champion New England Patriots fan, so much that he actually drives the Jeep Patriot. He's worked on many of your campaigns. He's a DTC co-float builder apprentice for the past few years. He's a hard-working, he's level-headed, he can make good and well-thought-out decisions. He works well with others and has the experience to transition easily into this role. So ladies and gentlemen of the Bristol Democratic Town Committee, guests, and fellow Bristolites, it's with great pride I put in the nomination of my friend, fellow DTC member Richard Harlow, as a candidate for a position on the Board of Assessments Appeals.
All in favor of Shirley Salvatore and Richard Harlow, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will instruct the secretary to cast 1 ballot for Shirley Salvatore and Rich Harlow for Board of Assessment Appeals.
Good evening, everyone. I rise tonight to nominate a fantastic slate of 6 Democrats we are hoping they will be running for Board of Education this year. They are Joe Grabowski, Tom O'Brien, Christopher Wilson, the Karens, Karen Hintz and Karen Vibert, and Tina Taylor. Together, this group of 6 presents a fantastic slate. They've got years and years of experience. I don't have to say too much about Tom, the Karens, and Chris because we've seen all the good work they do. They put their heart into everything. They think things through. They've got the best interests of our community's kids and families in their minds. And they worked really darn hard in very difficult circumstances. And joining them, hopefully this year, are Joe Grabowski, who's a brand new graduate of Bristol Eastern High School. He's attending CCSU. He's a member of my parish at State Stands Church, lifelong Bristol resident, and he's encouraging his interest in political science and education by getting out there and getting to be a part of things. He's going to bring a youthful, exciting perspective to the Board of Education. As well, joining us this year is Tina Taylor, who many of you have seen around and you know her because she works her butt off on everybody's campaigns. And if you go to the Board of Education meeting, she's always there. That girl literally she is always at the Board of Education things when she's not doing stuff with her 2 kids who are students. Are they both at Green Hills? Yes. So she knows her stuff, she's dedicated, and she's smart. And like I said, together this is a fantastic team. They're going to do what's right for the city of Bristol. They're going to combine experience and passion and interest and a desire to do what's right. And it's going to be a benefit to us all. So I hope you'll join me tonight in voting to endorse this fantastic slate. And I hope that you'll get out and join us at headquarters and help us do some campaigning for them because the city of Bristol needs thoughtful Democrats. And this is the team to get it done for the Board of Education. Thank you.
My family moved here when my girls were in kindergarten and going into middle school. We chose Bristol specifically because their education is important to us. And this is a global economy. And I feel it is really important that the education that they get now will serve them for the rest of their lives. I know each of these candidates either through the work that they have done or personally, and I believe that they will work together to help our kids get where they need to go and to make sure that their future is as important to Bristol as it is to us as their families. So for that reason, I wholeheartedly support these candidates for the Bristol Board of Education.
Thank you, Lisa. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Move nominations be closed.
Motion is made and seconded to close nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor of the slate of Board of Education members consisting of Karen Vibert, Karen Hintz, Tina Taylor, Thomas O'Brien, Christopher Wilson, and Joe Grabowski, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll instruct the secretary to cast one ballot for the entire slate. Thank you.
I got here first, so I'll go first. I want to thank you all for your support. It's been a really exciting and interesting 4 years. I look forward to the next 4 years to continue the work we've done in implementing the Common Core, trying to seek out appropriate funding for our schools, and obviously fighting the battle for the cafeteria workers' jobs. So thank you for your support.
I'll go next. My name is Karen Vibert. I want to thank you very much for your support. Thank you, Kate and Lisa. Those were wonderful words. We really appreciate it. I've enjoyed my 2 terms on the board so far, and I am really looking forward to a 3rd term to do everything that Karen said. Hopefully we can put the cafeteria issue to rest so we can move on to the most important things that we do as Board of Ed Commissioners, and that is the education of our students. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson. As many of you know, I don't believe there's anything more important to a community than its school system. It's an economic driver, as our nominator spoke about. We live in a global economy. People move to our community, choose to stay here and live here if you have quality schools. And I want to work for the next 4 years to make sure that we have quality schools for all our residents, and especially the 7 grandchildren that I have that go to Bristol schools.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Grabowski. Recently, I graduated from Bristol Eastern High School, and now I am starting school at Central Connecticut State University. I was born and raised in Bristol, and I care very much about my community. I believe I received a great education here in Bristol, and now I want to be a part of what makes our schools here so great. That is why I'm announcing that I am running for the Board of Education. In a city, a great school system is what attracts families, and families is what causes a city to prosper. Board of Education's #1 priority should be ensuring that students receive the best education. And now we live in a world in which the next generation needs an excellent education. Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." I want our students to graduate from the Bristol public school system feeling confident they can go out into our world and make a difference. I hope I can work with you all to make this election a successful one. Thank you.
My name is Tina Taylor, and thank you for the nomination. Thank you, Lisa and Kate, for those kind words. Most of you know I waited 4 years to be standing here and be in this position to not be at the meetings, but be a part of the meetings and part of the change. I am an urban educator over the last 10 years, and my goal is to create opportunities for everybody, regardless of their gender, regardless of their race, regardless of their socioeconomic status. So we need to really make sure that we bring these opportunities to our Bristol students and just give them the best education possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move to Council District 1. Are there any nominations? Sarah?
It is with a great honor and enthusiasm that I throw my full political support behind my friend Calvin Brown. Calvin is seeking re-election for City Council from my district, which is District 1. And he and I have a few things in common. We both graduated from the same high school, Go Lancers. We both love our city very much, and we want to grow and thrive here. We both see the potential in Bristol. Look at the Bristol Blues games and all the people that have been attracted to go. The new Boys and Girls Club, Lake Compound's expanding, ESPN expanding. Bristol has so much potential and so many good people, Calvin included. Another thing that Calvin and I have in common is the ability to stand up for what we believe in, even if it's considered unpopular. He is not afraid to speak up, just like me. Calvin has the qualities and leadership skills that a good city councilor should have. He has integrity and gives more than 100% all of the time. It is my pleasure to nominate and support my friend Calvin Brown for re-election.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and privilege for me to be up here tonight pleasing to nomination the name of Myra Sampson for City Council in the 1st District. Myra asked me to keep it short and sweet. When you have as many qualifications as Myra, that's a tough job. Myra is a lifelong Bristol resident, born and raised here. She went to St. Anthony's School and graduated from Bristol High School, Bristol Central High. She's a member of St. Anthony's Church. Myra has spent 26 years in being involved in Bristol Democratic politics. Matter of fact, I met her when I was in my 20s, when she was involved in my father Gardner's campaign, and she also helped my brother Chris in his campaigns. I've always known Myra to be, a very cheerful, positive person. She's a selfless person, and she spent a whole lifetime doing things to help others. She's a former Bristol Democratic Town Chairman. She's a former Bristol City Council person. Not Town Chairman, Town Chairperson. And former City Council person. She's been president of her union, for the Ask Me Union, for the City Hall workers. She has 2 daughters and a grandson, and she's involved with them. She spent 5 years as president of the Ivy Drive PTA, and she spent another 10 to 15 years as a mentor to school children. Myra does everything for others. Myra is running because she's concerned about their future in Bristol. She thinks the Democrats that we have on the council right now, 3 of them are doing a great job, but we're not going to be able to accomplish the things we want to accomplish without being in the majority, so she wants to run to help us get that majority. She's disappointed at the fact that the opposing party, they do have a lot of talk, but there hasn't been a lot of progress, and Myra is a doer, and I think we should all get behind Myra Sampson for City Council in the 1st District.
Paul Crowell, Precinct Chair for the 1st District, Mountain View School, also potentially known as 77-3. I rise to second the nomination of Myra Sampson for City Council candidate from the 1st Council District. I think she'll make a great candidate for a district, and she's got tremendous experience, of which you've already just heard. Thank you.
Members of District 1 only. Please vote in favor of the 2 council candidates, Myra Burial Sampson and Calvin Brown. District 1. All of District 1 in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Secretary, you're instructed to cast the ballot.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That was wonderful. And thank you, Paul, for my seconding. I'm going to make it short and brief because a lot of you all know me. Good evening, my fellow Democrats. It is with great pleasure that I accept the nomination for City Council in the 1st District. I believe, along with the rest of our diverse team, we will be able to move Bristol in the right direction. Bristol is a Democratic town. It always was a Democratic town, and we need to take it back. Our 3 sitting councilors could not do it alone. Of course, they can't do it alone, and they will need your help also. We will need everyone's help to complete this task. I look forward to working with everyone and hope for a successful campaign. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to stand before you tonight and accept your nomination for a second term on the City Council. It's hard to believe that it's been 2 years. 2 years ago, I don't even know, my junior year of college or my sophomore year of college. I hadn't turned 21 yet. I was a young candidate that was asking you to believe in me, to believe in the vision that I had for our city, and to work with me as we all built it. And the support that so many of you in this room have shown me over the last 2 years means the world to me. The privilege of getting to serve with Mary Fortier and Ellen Zappo-Sassu over these past 2 years has been the best education that I ever could have gotten at any school or in any place. Working with them has inspired me. Working with them has motivated me to do the best that I can for the city where I was born and raised and where I want to raise my family one day. And every election is about the future, but this one, more than any election, is about the future. It's about the future of our city. It's about the way we develop our town and the families that we bring here to grow with this great city. This is an exciting time to be in Bristol, and it's an exciting time to be a candidate. Thank you for nominating me tonight. You know that you can count on me to speak my mind. You can count on me to tell you the truth, and you can count on me to be fighting for you every single day, like I have for 2 years, and like I'll keep doing over the next 2 years with your help. Thank you all.
Moving on to Council District 2. Are there any nominations? Jack.
First of all, I'm proud to be a member of the Democratic Party, the party of the working class, the compassionate party, protector of the middle class, and most importantly, the party of diversity. Something our Republican counterparts still haven't got the clue. Having stated those facts, I was honored by a request I received from a young man, Morris Rippey Patton, who has asked me to nominate him as a candidate for the 2nd District seat. Rippey is an average guy who loves the city of Bristol. He is a graduate of Southern Connecticut State University, graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Corporate Communications. Rippey is a former mentor in both the New Haven and Bristol school systems and a former Pony League coach in Bristol. He has built a 16-year career underwriting insurance, with the last 10 years centered around creating and pricing group benefit packages to large employers at Guardian Life. Rippey isn't a politician, and that is what is great about him. He wants to create a better future for Bristol and for all of its residents. He wants to stop talking about how Bristol used to be great, but instead make Bristol great again. His daughter Cam is his motivation. He wants to make Bristol a place where his child can grow up and after college return to it. Rippey is involved in the community and has excited people that haven't voted in years and possibly ever. That is what the party needs, someone that can bring fresh new ideas to Bristol's government. It is an honor to place into nomination Morris Rippey Patton for council in the 2nd District.
I've known Morris for a very brief time, like most of us, and let me tell you, he brings a lot of robust energy, not only to this town committee, but to the city of Bristol and the 2nd District. He will not be a ghost representative. He'll be there more than driving through. He'll stop by and see us from time to time. I'm very honored to second your nomination. Good luck to you. You deserve it. You bring the energy that this district desperately needs. Thank you very much.
I'm here tonight to nominate David Pileski for the 2nd District Council seat. Dave has served on several city committees, Charter Revision, General City Retirement Committee, to mention a couple. He is also an active member in the community, serving on a variety of nonprofit organizations and boards. I feel that Dave will be a great asset to the Democratic team in November. Dave is so excited, he's got his father-in-law already out knocking on doors for his election.
Hello. You're good. My name is Mike. I'm in the 2nd District. I wanted to second the nomination of Dave Berleski to run for the council. I know he'll do a great job, knock on doors, get people excited, and I'm eager to throw my support behind him. Thank you.
All in favor of Morris Rippey Patton and David Perleski in District 2 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Will instruct the secretary to pass the vote.
Thank you. I really didn't want to write the speech, but as humbled as I am right now, I was so afraid of forgetting anyone. When you're the new guy for something like this, and you put yourself out there to a bunch of new people, and they embrace you the way that they did to me, the least I can do is give them that respect of making sure that I give them theirs while I stand here. Thank you again. I don't know that it's possible to be any more humbled and grateful than I am right now. I'm grateful for this endorsement, but it's more about the fact that this group of amazing Bristol residents that I've met, who've been working so hard for this city for so long, would entrust someone like me in a seat like city council. To these DTC members who are here, you've embraced and encouraged me, provided me with the confidence that was needed for this run. Rich Harlow, my extended neighbors throughout District 2, you guys made this possible for me, and I will represent us and I will work for us. And not simply because I am a candidate, but more because I am an able and willing resident with a sincere desire just to give back to this city that has given so much to me since I was a little kid. To Calvin, Mary, and Ellen, you guys are the absolute example, the dignity, the integrity, and the passion that I hope to bring to this seat, and more importantly, to the city of Bristol. I look so forward to working directly with you and my fellow newcomers throughout this campaign season, and even more when we take our seats representing this party in this city hall. To State Rep Frank Nicastro, former Senator Kyle Petro, thank you guys for being stand-up leaders for this city. You guys are both inspirations, and I pray that this beginning for me will allow me to bring even a tenth of what you guys brought to this city. Thank you. And finally, to my mother, my brother, my daughter, who's not here. I'm not standing here as me, I'm standing here as us. Thank you, Bristol. Put me to work. I am ready.
Full disclosure, John nominated me in part because his son took my daughter to the high school prom a bunch of years ago, and he's still trying to get back at me. I want to thank you all for your confidence and your vote. I'm a newbie, so I'm going to need your advice. I'm going to need your help. The last time I ran for anything was in 8th grade. I ran for class president. I did win, I want you to know. But I'm looking forward to this. When John said about my father-in-law is 88 years old, and when I told him I was running, he said that he'd knock on doors for me. So I thought that was pretty encouraging for an 88-year-old guy with great health. I promise you that I'll work hard. I promise you I'll work smart. I'll do it with pride. I'll do it with integrity. And I'm looking forward to working with you, Rippy. We're going to dazzle our district, okay? Thank you.
Gentlemen, moving on to Council District 3. Are there any nominations? Karen.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to nominate Mary Fortier for re-election to the Bristol City Council in the 3rd District. Mary has been working to elect Democratic candidates in our city since before she could drive, and well before she could vote. And 2 years ago, she decided to run for council, and she won her race. The reason she won is because Mary is smart, she's hardworking, she's passionate, and she has a vision for the future of Bristol. And I'm confident that these skills will carry her to victory again this November. Mary's a graduate of Boston College, and she has a law degree from Western New England. But she's not afraid to ask questions. She digs deep and tries to educate herself as much as possible on every issue so she can make really informed decisions for her constituents. I know this on a personal level because she has grilled me on the privatization of our cafeteria ladies for the Board of Education. And that's because Mary cares about our city employees. She understands that these are many people who live in our community, and that if we treat them fairly, they'll have the ability to spend money in our district. They'll spend money on houses. They'll spend money to pay taxes. They'll dine, they'll shop in Bristol, right here with us. In her first term, Mary's worked hard to influence positive decision-making for the reuse of Bingham and O'Connell schools, and she supported smart growth in our industrial park. She's had the courage to make tough decisions around the development of Depot Square and improvements to our parks and infrastructure, like creating a synthetic turf field for our athletes. Mary's vision is to create a better quality of life for people in Bristol. She wants to attract smart growth and families to our city, which will increase the values of our homes and the tax base of the city. A key component to Mary's vision is the preservation and restoration of Memorial Boulevard School. Mary knows that historic building is a key to the future of our downtown development. She listens to her constituents and understands what Mr. Rockwell's school and that lovely auditorium means to us. And she's also not afraid to get her hands dirty and help at cleanup day or volunteer at one of the many great events that we've seen there this year. When we re-elect Mary to City Council in the 3rd District with a Democratic majority and a Democratic mayor, watch out. Our city employees will be treated with dignity. They'll have the support and the tools they need to succeed in their jobs. Our citizens will enjoy a vibrant cultural center in Memorial Boulevard School, which will be a catalyst for the development of our downtown. Depot Square, our beautiful parks, our excellent and well-funded schools, hint, hint, will attract young families to Bristol. Let Mary Fordier's vision for Bristol be our vision for Bristol. Please join me in endorsing Mary Fordier, a great Democrat, a great city councilor, a great mom and husband, a great attorney, and I'm honored to say a great friend for the city council in the 3rd District. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Democratic Town Committee, and guests. It is with great pleasure that I rise to second the nomination of Mary Fortier for Councilwoman in the 3rd District. I first met Mary when she became a delegate several years ago to the Greater Bristol Labor Council. What impressed me about Mary was her knowledge of issues and passion for helping people and doing what was right. She has brought that passion to the Democratic Party and the City Council. She has been standing strong with the cafeteria workers and fighting the fight to save their jobs. She is not afraid to ask tough questions of the Board of Education and is not afraid to ask tough questions at City Council meetings. She is there to fight for her constituents. We need Mary Fortier once again to represent the City of Bristol in the 3rd District to continue that fight. Mr. Chairman, once again, I second the nomination of Mary Fortier for Councilwoman in the 3rd District.
I stand here to nominate Bob Passamano for Council District 3. Now, the first time I met Bob, it was during a tour of the new Green Hills K-8 building. And actually, I think, Lisa, you might have been with us also. I was the secretary of the PTA, and his wife, Michelle, was the supremely efficient president. Bob had been on the Green Hills Building Committee, and it was obvious that he knew his geothermal. We kind of looked at him, not knowing what he was talking about, but, it sounded good, so that was good. But I realized then that Michelle was not the only superstar in the family, that this family went pretty deep. So since then, I've seen Bob take an active participant in the Forestville community, where he's on the board of directors of the Bristol Soccer Club. He's a mentor for the TOP Soccer program, where he helps provide soccer opportunities for children with special needs that may not be able to participate otherwise. He's also a member of the Watchdogs at Green Hills, which is a group of fathers who participate in mentoring programs and just being around for kids and really getting fathers interested in education, getting them around the school. Beyond this commitment to family, education, and athletics, Bob also has served as a volunteer firefighter, and he's currently a member of the 22-state First Strike Disaster Response Team. So in closing, a more well-rounded, civic-minded candidate you are not going to find. And this is why I nominate Bob Passamano for City Council in the 3rd District.
I'd like to second the nomination for Bobby Passamano. I've known him for about 10 years. Michelle and Bobby are friends of my wife and I, and he's an honest, direct speaking, well-respected individual. He's very community-oriented, and we've had many discussions related to bringing Bristol forward.
Every time we get together, we seem to talk politics, and now he's on the town committee here and running for council. I'm proud of him. I look forward to working with him and helping him. He's a very family-oriented gentleman. He'll represent our district very well on city council come November.
Council District 3 only. All those in favor of Mary Fortier and Robert Passamano signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Secretary casts one ballot for the two candidates.
Ladies first, always.
I have no speech. It's a long night. I can't say enough about how much fun I've had on City Council. Obviously, it's serious business, but working with Calvin and Ellen has been a joy. And I look forward to the next term when hopefully we will be joined by folks that will help make our work make a real difference. I'm also very, very excited about this whole group of candidates. I think that we have a diverse slate, and I think we're Democrats, and we know that diversity is our strength. And I think this makes it an incredibly strong team. And so I'm just thrilled and very excited about the upcoming election. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Tina and Tom. It's an honor to stand before you being nominated. Certainly looking forward to working with you all. As we all know, Bristol has a rich history of hardworking, blue-collar workers and their families. Many of the landmarks in this great city today are the result of that history. Although times have changed, the results of hard work have not. I consider myself that hardworking, blue-collar, community-driven guy. Working for a public utility company, I'm often on call working days, nights, holidays, and weekends. Whether it's a car versus pole, telephone pole, an ice storm with wires down, or an underground failure, I also work snow removal in the winter. Yes, this is a choice I made when I chose a profession, but it keeps me in touch with the reality of what we need to do to be able to provide the basics for our families at home. No matter the workload in front of you, we must also figure out how to balance family and community. And I, like so many of the other residents, are in that pool together. The last thing we want to do is miss a special event for a spouse or a child. I'm blessed to have both, a great wife, Michelle, and a lovely daughter, Emily. I met my wife, a lifelong Bristol resident, 15 years ago. We married, and I made a choice, we made a choice, to stay in Bristol. Could have gone to a ton of different towns. My mother would tell you, who lives in Middletown, it was an absolutely horrendous choice. But I stand before you to tell you it was great. We purchased a home in the neighborhood my wife grew up in on Dino Road. I became a member of the Forestville Green Hills School Building Committee. Today, my daughter is in a state-of-the-art school with a great team of educators, to all you guys. And during her 6th grade year this past year, she made high honors and was inducted to the National Honor Society. My wife and I are actively involved through the PTA. As you've heard, I'm a member of the Watchdogs, Dads of Great Students, which is a program which allows a mentoring program with the kids and dads to become more involved with their kids in the schools and the community. I currently serve on the board of directors at the Bristol Soccer Club, where I coach a travel team, which my daughter plays on. I coach a team of 6-year-olds, along with the Top Soccer program, which is a program that, as you've heard before, is designed to help and allow children with special needs the opportunity to play soccer. My life is pretty good. With all the contact I have with Bristol families, I hear the same concerns over and over again. What's happening with the downtown mall project, MBS? What about our children's schools or the shape of the fields they play on? I have decided it's time to step up, be accountable, and take ownership in the city I call home. We always talk about the same bright spots in this city. ESPN, Muzzy Field and the Blues, which are great, the new Boys or Girls Club, but there's something we forget and something that's not in the paper every time we do that. And this is where I live. This is where Kate Matthews lives. This is our town. I ask for your support in the 3rd District as this team moves ahead and looks to take what is ours and ensure the future of our city, making it a place you can live, work, and retire. And oh, by the way, a place where my daughter's gonna say, Dad, I wanna come back home, raise a family. I ask again for your support, and I thank all of you tonight.
Last but not least, the moment that Steve Collins has been waiting months for. The position of mayor. Do we have any nominations?
I'll keep it short. As a person I'm going to nominate, we'll probably talk 3 times as much as I'm going to talk. I would like to place a nomination for mayor in the name of Ellen Sapo Sassu. I'm a numbers guy, so I'm going to put this in financial terms. Ellen believes that strong communities build strong neighborhoods, strong families, and a positive quality of life, and that investing in these issues will pay dividends. Not investing in these issues would create more problems that require even more money to solve. It also makes a community less attractive to investors, whether they are companies who want to expand or relocate here, or families looking to put down roots. We need all age groups to want to live here and call Bristol home. From her creation of the code enforcement framework as a city councilwoman in 2002 to her efforts to revive it over the last 2 years, we know that her approach to creating policies and community investment on these policies works. There's no better example of this than the work on the MBS task force in creating a plan for building. Her leadership brought in various segments of the community, many of whom had different ideas, and created a plan that could be a catalyst for downtown. Honoring the past, shaping the future. That's what tonight is all about. We have a great history, and we can have an even brighter future with tonight's Democratic team. Thank you.
I rise to second the nomination of Ellen Zaposassu for the office of mayor of the city of Bristol. It's been a long wait for me. I met Ellen, and I think it was the summer of 1984. She was a young college student, and she had been working at Chippy's, waitressing. She came into Muzzy Field. I don't know how she could possibly find me in Muzzy Field. But she sat down next to me in a far left field. I was trying to hide. And we started talking. She introduced herself. And I knew the name from, I read the paper, and I believe her dad was on the Board of Finance at the time. So I was well aware of a lot of the issues that were going around within the city. And it always helps if you're a city employee to know who's who in town. But after she told me who she was and we started talking a little bit, I went into my usual, I have to grill this young lady's mode business and see what she's really made of. We went on for about 20 minutes after I asked her one question, and I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she instantaneously said, I want to be the mayor of the city of Bristol. More talking, more questions. I hit her on every issue that I can think of. She never missed a beat. Now, who could figure a 20, 21-year-old college girl would have that much going for her where she would know what was going on then? Most 21-year-olds are just looking for which bar's got the best drink in town for that night. Not Ellen. She knows the issues. So I said to her, well, you know, you didn't miss a beat, young lady. I'm looking forward to it, but don't make me wait too long. Well, here it is, 2015, and we're going to do it this year. With all of our hard work, her hard work, and the people of Bristol really ready for a change and making some big progress in this town. We're going to have the first woman mayor. It's going to be great. Let's do it.
They dropped them already.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Wait a minute, after all of that, you're gonna ask for more nominations?
Are there any other nominations?
Move to close.
Be closed.
In a hurry, before she runs out.
Second.
It's been seconded to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All those who wish to vote for Ellen Zappo Sasu signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Secretary, cast one ballot for Ellen Zappo.
Surprise. Never told me. Yeah, so about that. I know that many of you are surprised to actually see me standing here. This has not been a ploy. I was not being coy. I was not being provocative. But I really wanted to make sure that the Democratic Town Committee was in a good place, and that by doing so, that we all candidates standing before you tonight were in a good place. And I have to say that the campaign group that got together about 8 weeks ago, after I made a series of demands and ultimatums, really did a great job. And for those people out in the community who thought that the Democratic Party was desperately searching for candidates, I beg to differ, because we knew at that point that we had to carefully construct the best possible slate with the most diverse and strategically placed candidates across the spectrum of socioeconomics and neighborhoods, but with that glue, that mission, and the statements that were going to bind us together and really renew what the Democratic Party has stood for years. So tonight, we have our A team, but in my mind, I actually think it's an A+ team, with the addition first of Rippy Patton, and then Patty Bentley, and then Myra, Bob, and Dave. Well, it was easy for me to finally make a decision, which did happen this weekend. And let me be clear, I'm not doing this simply because we do have a spot to fill at the top. It's more than that. I'm very content working on policies and projects, and I was very content to stay in what I thought would be a very safe council seat. But I changed my mind. I probably changed my mind 35 times during the month of June if you talk to Calvin, Rippy, and Mary. But for tonight, I think that finally we're in a good place. And to Joe Grabowski, welcome. The man looking down at you, James P. Casey, stormed the Democratic Town Committee in 1941 at the age of 23 and got the endorsement and went on to be mayor. You have a great and bright future here for this party as well as this community. So obviously yesterday I knew that I had to come up with a speech, and some of you may have heard some allusions to the fact that I like to make speeches and I like to make long speeches, but I'm not going to do that tonight. But I do want to say that I was looking for inspiration. It was a busy weekend. We had a graduation party, and I was pressed for time. So I thought I would go back and reread some of the infamous speeches from that infamous year, 2007, and thought, well, maybe there's some quotes or some inspiration that I could maybe borrow, since I really did write those speeches the first time. Maybe I could just use parts of them again. Sadly, I could have stood here tonight and I could have delivered that speech from 2007 tonight, and you wouldn't have known the difference. And that's unacceptable. It's time to start the conversation about where we want to go in the next 5 to 10 years. And it's time to eliminate the fear factor about what these people in this town, our citizens, our taxpayers, our neighbors, fear about progress, about the inferiority complex that we have, and why we can't get something going. The fear factor about taxes, about what that's going to mean individually to people. I guess it's an effective tactic because it's worked in the last 4 years.
But I'm here to tell you something. This year, right now, there are $19.8 million projects being carried in the city budget under capital improvement. $19.8 million. And I think that there's probably not one person in this room who could name any one of those projects. Not you, you don't qualify. Projects are carried. They are part of what we do in the government. It's the same as if the money that we spend every year on bunker gear for the fire department or lawnmowers for the park department and fire department. We have equipment, we have salaries. That's what we do. That's how we pay for things. And when you balance and when you're planful and you're thoughtful, that does not ripple the municipal budget. We can have positive projects that improve our quality of life. Muzzy Field is the perfect example of this. We've invested and are continuing to invest millions of dollars. It has created a destination for affordable, fun summer activities. We've provided summer jobs for young people in this town and an opportunity to showcase one of Bristol's historic gems. Memorial Boulevard is no different. It's the same philosophy. Arts, music, and the theater could be the catalyst for downtown. In drawing people to cultural and arts, we help other businesses. We help strengthen our neighborhoods, and we help the bottom line, which is our property values. The economic spin-off, we've done the research, and we know our report is solid. It's time to reinvest here the same way we've invested in Muzzy Field, in the Bristol Senior Center, the parks, and other projects, without the double standard and the demand that we create a return on investment. It's time to invest in Bristol's own residents, and the city should pave the way with an aggressive push on local hiring and preferential hiring. It bolsters our middle class when we have people who have quality jobs with affordable health care. It helps them maintain their homes, maybe even buy their own home. There are hundreds of local men and women in this town who could be a fireman, a police officer, a teacher, and a cafeteria worker, and they deserve those jobs because that's going to bolster our middle class. Great jobs mean a stronger middle class, well cared for properties, disposable income, and a thriving school system. It's also time to take code enforcement to the next level. It's one thing to knock down deteriorated structures, but I think it's even more important to build something new, and that's a policy discussion that we've yet to have. Parcels left vacant, for example, could be subject to a new ordinance and a vacant property tax. That would be an innovative policy. People who are investing and don't want to do something with their property should not do it on the backs of us, the taxpayers who are living here. Incentives should also be given to the banks to move their properties, blighted or vacant, over to the nonprofits who could do rehab and sweat equity programs, create first buyer homeowner opportunities, and get home ownership and owner-occupied people back in the neighborhoods that are targeted for reinvestment. The City of Bristol has a $180 million budget, and it's also time to have the community conversation again and create a dialogue about whether we need a city manager and more professional management at City Hall. As many of you know, I have my master's in public affairs from UConn, where I got a degree following my time at Providence College. I do believe that the city's lack of progress in certain areas, such as downtown, is tied to our lack of professional management. Other towns around us are moving ahead, and while we debate and distract, we're left behind. It's time to act, and it's time for the pendulum to swing back before the ticking clock is all that we hear. Last week, we accepted the report from the Memorial Boulevard Task Force, which has already been mentioned tonight, and it's a great body of work. Interestingly, someone was here from the New Britain Arts Organization interested in space, and yes, there are people interested in space. There is a long list of people who want to rent. There are revenue opportunities. She was not from Bristol, and she said to me after the meeting, half joking, what's up with your clock? Is it always 8 o'clock here in Bristol? And I said, there are some days it certainly feels that way. So let's get the pendulum swinging back to the right side. I believe that it's the time for this slate to make a difference, and I think that we are going to bring people back. I think the problems of the past with our party have healed, and it's always the issue with the majority party. We have disagreements, and we're like a big family, and we fight. But I think that day is gone, and I think that the time is now to participate in a positive manner, whether it be campaigning or when we're elected. The positive tone is what's needed. However, in Bristol, as many of you know, we have our internet friends. They like to say lots of fun things, and we have to rise above that. I think that on any given day, we know that this isn't about partisan politics. As Bob said, it's about our town, our neighborhood, and we need to take a stand, and we need to have integrity, and we need to move beyond it. However, I would like to take a moment to say that this weekend I also did have this clarity moment occur, in that I think that the whole internet troll piece is designed to keep people from seeking elected office, because we've lost potential candidates. They don't want to enter the fray because they know that they're going to be attacked, that their families are going to be attacked, that all of this is going to happen, and they don't have the stomach for it. But I'm going to stand here tonight and tell you that it doesn't bother me. Maybe it did in the past, but it doesn't bother me anymore because I see those people for who they are, non-participatory. Totally entitled to their opinion, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't bother me. I'm actually going to go through a quick list of some of the things that have been said that have not scared me off. I dress like my grandmother. I guess the issue becomes, which grandmother are they talking about? Is it the Italian immigrant grandmother? Because I do like my black tights, but I don't wear them in the summer. Are they talking about my mother's mother, who kind of had a little Chanel thing going on? I'm okay with that. I don't know the meaning of the word egregious. Adjective, Latin roots, conspicuously offensive. She could lose 20 pounds and her hair is a hot mess. Well, I'll claim 10 pounds any given day. And the hair tonight is courtesy of Sassy Cuts, which is a fruit commercial for my brother-in-law. So. This is my favorite one. Her husband's a saint. The Police Officer of the Year contest was fixed.
You should have a heck of a speech then.
She doesn't have a personality or a sense of humor. Well, I think that was my daughter on Facebook. And that's, it is what it is, I guess. So, I promise, as your endorsed candidate for the second time, let's get it right this time, to uphold the highest ethical standards, both, again, on the campaign trail, as well as when we all take that oath on Monday night, November 9th. So mark it in your books. I really appreciate everyone's support. It's been a long road. Being on the council in the minority is not something that I've ever been before. My 3 previous terms, I served under 3 different mayors, but we always had the majority. It's been an interesting process, and I think that all the hard work from everybody tonight working to get us to this point with this A+ list of candidates is going to propel us to November very easily. But we need to see you at headquarters. We need to have that big tent philosophy, and we need to have everybody under the tent. So, thank you.
Keep this this energy, keep this momentum going. Headquarters will be opening soon. I'll be getting that announcement out as to where it is and when it will be open. We need all of you there. We need to keep this going, keep working, and we need to have this whole slate taken back to the city in November. Thank you very much, everyone.